Ladies and gentlemen, you know the name, you know the voice, you know exactly why I'm here. I'm the leader in this audio revolution. I'm your host, no longer the podfather, but the microphone messiah. Welcome to Complexx Conversations. I haven't done one of these in quite some time. I'm sorry. I really am. You know, I've been busy trying to build up the platform for the Bullet Cast, for my claim to fame. My last episode that I uploaded was May 3rd. It was part 1 of the Degrassi Next Generation series. That episode was recorded almost 2 years ago. I have on the line my partner in crime for this series, Lisette Donaire. How's it going?
Hey, what up, what up?
Alright, so we're here to discuss the part 2. We're going to go over mainly season 7 through 11 of Degrassi the Next Generation. And the characters that will be discussed are Jane Vaughn, Danny Van Zandt, Mia Jones, Peter Stone, Holly J Sinclair, Declan and Fiona Coyne, Sav Bhandari, Chauntay Black, Anya McPherson, Riley Stavros, Derek Haig, and Darcy Edwards. Alright, before we get into that, let's just talk about our favorite characters from the last podcast that we did for Degrassi. So, you know, the characters that were in that are Drake, Aubrey Graham, Jimmy Brooks, obviously. You know, you have Emma, Manny, Craig, Marco, Paige. That whole crew, you know, the creme de la creme, you could say, of the Degrassi Next Generation series. So I guess I'll go first. Looking back at it and rewatching a lot of stuff, I think Craig was my favorite from that era, man. You know, he did a lot of messed up stuff to where you have to look at it. He was abused by his father, and he cheated on Manny and Ashley together, got Manny pregnant, became bipolar, started doing coke, you know, so he played with Ellie's emotions. He did all this messed up stuff, but there was something about his characteristics where you still liked him, you know, he was forgivable in that sense. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Alright, so what about you? You know, are you a Paige Michael Chuck fan? You a Marco fan and Emma Nelson fight for the trees?
No, I was actually a Manny fan.
Manny Santos.
There was something about her growing up watching the show that just kind of brought me towards her. Even though she went through, like, a lot of stuff, I don't know, I felt like I could relate to her. And it's funny because every single person in my family that I would watch with would be like, yeah, that's not someone you should look up to, but that's someone that I ended up loving on the show.
Yeah, no, Manny, she had that lovable characteristics as well. I mean, you know, being the other woman in that whole Craig and Ashley fiasco, getting pregnant at, like, 15, 14, and then, you know, she started wearing a thong. I remember on Craig's album, one of the songs was Thong Girl, Wrong Girl, all out of her. And then, you know, she did other stuff, moved out of her parents' house, you know, had her nudes sent online because of Peter. Just a lot of crazy stuff that happened with her, but, you know, I think that's all of the characters on Degrassi.
But see, for me, it wasn't even any of that. It was just the fact that she knew what she wanted and she stood her ground.
Yes. If you want somebody that's taken, you go right after it, ladies and gentlemen.
No, not that. I just mean, like, when she was kind of like Emma, if you think about it, but they had two different ideas of what they wanted.
Yeah, I mean, Emma was more of the you know,
Emma was more the tree hugger. Manny was more of like, okay,
promiscuous. We could say.
More like I'm a badass. This is what I want. I'm gonna get it. Get in my way, you get my ammunition.
Absolutely. I mean, as we look at it, let's talk about the Drake music video reunion. So in 2018, before, unfortunately, last year, the Degrassi lot was sold, and a lot of stuff was auctioned off, so that's no longer in existence. That sucks. But before that, a year prior, 2018, Drake drops the Scorpion album, and one of the songs on the album is I'm Upset, and the music video for that is a big Degrassi reunion. You have Drake, who Jimmy Brooks apparently learns how to walk again. He's living in the arena for the Toronto Raptors. He meets up with Spinner. They have the high school reunion. I mean, everybody's there. Ellie, Spinner, Paige, Marco, Craig, Ashley, even people who were in seasons that didn't really involve him. You know, you have Jane, you have Derek and Danny, and one of the craziest invites I thought of was he played Connor Delorier, AJ Souden, I think that's his name. Like seeing him, I'm like, whoa, look at the glow up on that guy. But just he had nothing to do with Drake at all. I was like, okay, that's him kind of tying together all the generations of the Next Generation Degrassi series.
If you think about it, they said that in the season that he's in, he's like their version of Jimmy Brooks.
I don't see that. I mean, Jimmy didn't have Asperger's and he wasn't stealing girls' underwear.
But think about it. Each person in each of the newer seasons, it's a little, and I want to say not the biggest, but a little representation of the older cast. So yeah, he didn't have Asperger's or steal girls' underwear, but
I mean, if they're saying he's like him, what? I mean, they were both light-skinned black kids with curly hair. Like that's the only similarity that I can really see. You know what I mean? Jimmy Brooks was a star athlete
with two girl best friends because Jimmy Brooks was really good friends with Paige and Hazel.
I mean, you can argue it. I don't see it. I really don't. Jimmy Brooks, star athlete, Connor Delorier. He was the geek. It's the bottom line. But I mean, what were your thoughts when you saw the reunion music video? Like, well, how much nostalgia rushed through you?
I want to say a lot. It just felt so good to see such a huge cast come together because honestly, almost every single person that was in that music video was someone that I enjoyed watching on the show, whether it was their story or somebody else's story.
No, absolutely. I think I'm gonna pull up the music video here so we can.
You have to. I mean, it's a guaranteed thing.
Absolutely. Just pull this up. Get ready for it. Fast forward a little bit. So we see Jimmy Brooks in the gym of the Toronto Raptors, the arena. Getting ready, getting suited and fitted, suited and booted, styling and profiling. Just fast forward a little bit. So we get him and Spinner pulling up in the car. Just keep it going. So you have Paige, Marco, Ellie, Craig.
The trio.
Yep. The slow walk. You have Terry and Hazel, Ashley. You have Mr. Simpson, Miss O, Derek, and Danny.
I completely forgot about Terry.
Yes, Jay and Silent Bob, and Drake Emma and Manny. Drake doing his awkward dancing.
His Hotline Bling dance.
No, I adopted that back in my day. And then you have people dancing in the hall. You have Mia. You have Liberty, and right here, running in. The craziest invite, Ephraim Ellis, who played Rick Murray. They're running down that same hallway where Rick shoots Jimmy, and this is Drake basically getting his revenge and having his OVO crew chase him down.
That was a huge statement. That they were trying to say in the video.
Absolutely, that's a sick wig he had on. Because if you saw the other white guy dancing in the hallway with him, that was him, just without the wig.
Oh yeah.
You have the scene where Simpson's buying weed from Jay and Silent Bob. Because remember, Mr. Simpson, he had cancer.
We can't forget that.
Sean stole his laptop. Here we go. Class of 07. Toby's in this too. How could you forget about Tobes? JT was supposed to be in this, but, the cast said that he got an email and he thought it was fake.
You beat me to it. I was just about to bring JT up and be like, it would have been the epiphany if JT was on it.
Spinner throwing up because he had cancer. I know, like, people are just coming back from the dead and the paralyzed can walk again. It's the definition of a soap opera.
Right? But it was one of the best, if you honestly think about it.
Little tricycle Nina Dobrev's riding on. Jane was in this, Paula Brancati. It was a really good music video. It was fun. It got me nostalgic, and then I found the Degrassi YouTube channel with all the episodes, and that's when I found out, oh my god, this thing went on until like 2014, 15. I was like, then I found out about Next Class, and I was like, oh my god. And of course, Degrassi is nothing without drama, shooting, a fire at the reunion.
Good old Degrassi.
Good old Degrassi. Then Jay and Silent Bob are doing their thing. You got everybody running out.
I really wish that Jay and Silent Bob were kind of incorporated more in the series.
Yeah, that would have been nice. I mean, they did the Jay and Silent Bob Go Canadian, eh?
Yeah.
Degrassi, Toronto, my honorary home, because you know I'm an honorary Canadian. But I guess moving on from that, let's just hop right into it. You know, so first character up is Jane Vaughn. She was a season 7 through 9 regular, only 2 seasons, but she really did a lot. You know, so she comes from Lakehurst because Lakehurst burns down, and all their students moved to Degrassi, and Degrassi kids hate Lakehurst because the guy that killed JT went to Lakehurst, and it's just a whole thing. So they take it out on their school.
And one of his best friends ended up dating Sav's sister, but we'll get into that later.
Oh yeah, Johnny DeMarco. So here we go. She helps Spinner get through his cancer because you know Spinner's dad dies from cancer. We never see his father in the show, but yeah, Spinner has testicular cancer, and she helps him get through that. You know, she's related to Mia's daughter. Her brother is Mia's daughter's father, so you know she's the aunt to Mia's daughter. That was an interesting relationship there.
That was. Oh my gosh, I didn't even realize that until you just said it. Or not realize, I mean, remember that.
Well, you know I do my research.
Yeah, but do you know how long it's been since I've seen some of these episodes?
I mean, that's quite possibly true, you know. But I mean, just moving on from that, you have she's hazed when she joins the football team because you know Peter's mom was Miss Hatsalakos or Miss Hot Sauce, as she was referred to on the show.
Yeah. The pads.
Yeah, she moves away or whatever. So we get the Shep. The Shep, he's the new principal and the football coach. And he's like, you want to be one of the guys, or they're going to treat you like one of the guys. And Derek and Bruce the Moose, who's DeMarco's friend, they haze her, they beat her up and stuff, and all this stuff. But, you know, Sav and Riley and Danny, they stand up for her, which eventually gets the majority of the team to stand up for her. So that was a really interesting part. She was basically proving women can do anything guys can do, and that whole really movement of women taking over sports happened about 6 years after, because these episodes, which was like in 09 really. But yeah, so you know that was interesting. And then this is a lot of stuff that I missed since I've been watching it back. She realizes her father, her estranged father, who walked out on the family, she realizes he sexually assaulted her as a child, and that was a very interesting storyline because her brother longed for his father because he was never there, and then it looks like they were just starting to make things right, and she remembers these repressed memories, and you know they forbid him from seeing the family, and Spinner helps her get through that, and you know I really liked her and Spinner's relationship.
I didn't.
I mean, you look at this is gonna. I mean, you look at it's Spinner. He had his thing with Manny. He was with Paige. He had Darcy, but he and Jane, they were perfect for each other.
No, I personally think that they were better off as friends, and the show pushed them together when she was helping him through his cancer.
It felt kind of organic, you know.
I don't think so. I really don't.
Elaborate.
I don't know. I think maybe watching it at the age that I was watching it, yeah, okay, at that time they seemed like they were perfect for each other, right? Like the chemistry was there. Going back and watching it now, being older and understanding, it just looks so forced. And personally, for me, the body language was just like, okay, really? Like, you guys really have me ending up with this guy for a while? Like, what the heck?
It was okay. It was fine.
I mean, I'm not saying that they were a terrible couple. I'm just saying, for me, I personally don't think that they were a good one.
That's true. After she deals with that, she joins the Studes band. Let's talk about the bands in Degrassi for a quick second. All right, like they got lamer and lamer as this show went on.
Oh, yeah.
Like Craig's band, Downtown Sasquatch. All right, it was cool. It was decent. You know, Jake Epstein. He had the cool vibe. And plus, he
Or
was,
Ashley's band.
no, I mean they were okay. They were those were the first two. I was fine with them. And Jake Epstein like actually played in a band during this time, so he pulled off the vibe. And then you move on to Studes, which would become Janie and the Studs after the stuff that happens with Peter. We're going to talk about here on this episode. I'm like, okay, all right, I guess, all right. And then we get into the later seasons with was it Whisper Hug, and I'm like, all right, this is
Hey, Whisper Hug is good, but
this is corny.
we'll get into that later.
Yeah, that was corny. I'm sorry, I couldn't do it. So yeah, she joins Janie and the Studs. Joins the band, becomes one of the boys, and they do shows, all that stuff at Above the Dot because it was a club above the Dot. The Dot was the coffee house that they all hung out at. It was basically their Central Perk.
Oh, yeah. I love the Friends reference.
For all you Friends fans, absolutely. All right, but then she cheats on Spinner with Declan. Declan, the heir apparent to his father's fortune, the diplomat's kid. He and his sister Fiona moved to Degrassi, and it only happened for like 2 or 3 weeks, but it felt longer than that, And Holly J, she finds out about it, and Jane breaks it off. Because she didn't feel like Spinner treated her like a queen, so to speak. And
See, now do you see why I said that? I don't think that they were a good couple. The fact that she had to cheat on Spinner with Declan, she knew that she could get more from Declan than she could Spinner.
But then she realizes the wrong in her ways. She ends it with him.
Of course. Any normal human being would feel guilty, but still.
I mean,
there's a small part of someone, especially Jane, that she was like, okay, yes, it's wrong, but it feels right.
I mean, there are some people who do things and don't feel guilty at all, But I mean, the point is, she realizes the wrong in her ways, and she breaks up with Declan. They become friends. They work on the musical together. And so Spinner eventually does find out after the graduation. Declan has a big graduation party for everybody at his casa, and Spinner's on his way to ask Holly J like how she likes her burger. So Declan didn't seem like an inferior boyfriend. Didn't know how his woman likes her meat. Anyway, he walks over to the tent where they're changing into their bikinis, and Jane talks about taking a dip in Declan's pool. Holly J's like, oh, you done that before? Spinner hears the whole thing, and he says, I'm glad you're going away to California to go to Stanford. That way your life can be far, far away from mine. And then all the BS chaos happens, and he marries Emma for God knows why.
Yeah, that was, like... I don't even have words for that.
Yeah, well, anyway, to the wedding, she tries to stop Spinner's wedding to Emma, but she sees how happy he is, and so, they hug, she kisses him on the cheek goodbye, and then she goes off to Stanford University in California, and she was in 34 episodes. So there you go. That's Jane Vaughn. Moving on, we have Mia Jones, Nina Dobrev.
My favorite.
Mine too, you feel me? Alright, so she was a Season 6 recurring star, and she was in Season 7 and 8 regular, and Season 9 guest appearances. So, here we go. She transfers from Lakehurst before it burns down We find out she has a daughter. She's a teen mom, and she becomes attracted to JT. They eventually become boyfriend and girlfriend. JT had his intentions to make Liberty jealous, but he actually falls for Mia. But of course, he had other feelings for Liberty later on while he was with Mia, and he dies and all this other stuff.
It's weird that we talked about Jane first and not Mia, because Mia was at Degrassi way before Jane. And that's how, the whole thing comes together between them.
Okay, honestly, Lisette, I just started listing characters, and this is the order that it happened.
Okay, I was just saying.
I'm sorry. I apologize. Anyway, yeah, she becomes JT's girlfriend. They start dating.
They were a good couple.
They were cute. They were like, oh, that's high school love. That's
they
cute.
were like the it couple.
Nah, I wouldn't go that far.
Really? Why not? They were the it couple for their grade.
No,
Everybody wanted Mia.
I mean, she had a glow up too. You feel me? But I'm saying like they were cute. Like, oh, that's 10th grade love. That's cute,
Sure.
So, eventually, when the Lakers kids come over to Degrassi, her baby daddy comes back into the fold, and he wants to try to be a part of her life, but doesn't really want anything to do with the kid.
And he was hot.
Oh, okay. Let's stop objectifying people by their looks, Lisette.
What? I'm just really
Pig.
What were you just saying about Mia?
You pig. Jesus.
Hey.
What?
Hey.
What?
You can't use my word against me.
I have no idea what you're talking about. So I guess Luke wasn't or Lucas. I guess he was an attractive being. I don't know the guy's name. Don't know how many episodes he was in. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I want to say he was only in maybe 4 episodes.
No, he was in way more than that.
No,
Because he comes back. Because he dropped out of school and he comes back during the whole Jane figuring out her father raped her stuff. So I'd give him at least 10 episodes. All right. Anyway, and don't look it up. I hear you typing.
Why can't I look it up?
All right. So eventually, while she's trying to get back together with Lucas.
Okay, fine. Hold on. You're right. He was in 10 episodes. I was wrong.
That was off the top of the dome too. You feel me? I'm Canadian. I know this. This was my series. You feels me?
Okay, sure.
Anyway, yeah, so they're at a party and they've been drinking, and that's her daughter's name, was upstairs, and the police take her away, and she has to deal with Child Protective Services, and so she realizes Lucas is a bad apple and probably will never change, and so she just disregards anything to do with him.
She dumps his butt again.
Exactly, her daughter was taken away briefly, but then we get to season 8 when she's officially on Power Squad because stuff happened with Darcy, which we'll talk about when we get to her character. And yeah, she starts feeling my boy Danny Van Zandt a little bit. They called him Chocolate Thunder on the field. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, and then she becomes she becomes a model for I think it was I forget the guy's name, but it was like a T-Boz or
a pig.
Yes, he was a pig. Becomes like a T-Boz girl or something. I forgot the dude's the athlete's name.
That's how irrelevant it was.
Yeah. Anyway, she sleeps with him to get the job when she finds out she had already gotten the job, so she didn't need to sleep with him. And then that one Asian girl who I didn't really like her character. She was annoying. Leia. That was it. I didn't like her at all.
Yeah, but she
was just annoying.
Well, yeah, but she helped Mia's story line.
Yeah, she did help me a storyline, and actually she tells Danny what she did.
Also because she liked Danny too.
Yeah, so that's messed up.
Well, let's not forget too that Mia lied to the guy and said that her daughter was her sister because she was embarrassed.
I mean, that's what happens when you have a kid at 13.
Okay, but it takes 2, not just Mia. Anyway.
And just women's rights over here. I see you pimping. I see you. Anyway, so she tries to put that past her as her modeling career takes off. She starts to have an interest in Peter, and Peter didn't really know if he wanted to date anybody after Darcy. But they eventually get together. Then while they're together, it's broken by Holly J what she did to get to the top. And Peter said he didn't care. That's in the past. That's not who you are now. So you see, Peter really changed over time from his days of sending nude pictures of girls on the internet.
Don't forget Peter did crystal meth.
That's okay. Look, we're not there yet.
Well, you're saying that he changed.
Okay, we're not there yet. There's a time and order in all of this.
Okay, sorry.
God,
Should have given me the memo before.
I did. You know, this is why I'm an excellent podcaster when you're a rookie. This is exactly why.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, absolutely. All right.
Anyway.
Anyway, yes. She takes a job in Paris and leaves Peter because he did crystal meth. Spoiler alert. Jesus. Anyway, she
went to it anyway, whether we talked about it now or later.
She was in 35 episodes. Nita Dobrev did a hell of a job. Love your work. You're a class act. I follow you on the gram. Hit your boy up if you ever want to come on the show.
And watch her on the Vampire Diaries.
All right. Jamie Johnson played Peter Stone, season 5 through 10 regular. His mom, Miss Hatsalakos, is the principal. He has an interest in Manny when Emma has an interest in Peter. They're at a party. Manny's drunk. She says she's going to be famous. Pulls down her top. The bazungas are videotaped. Shown all throughout.
Really? Just call it bazungas?
Shown through all throughout Degrassi. But then despite that, Emma starts secretly dating Peter behind Manny's back. And Peter, you start to see the good in him. He helps Emma with her anorexia because she had that whole phase going on. And he becomes really jealous when Sean comes back into the picture. Sean Cameron comes back from Wasaga Beach.
Love him.
Daniel Clark, he was great. He should have been in the video, but he wasn't invited.
He should have been in Degrassi longer than he was.
Yeah. I mean, he comes back after this whole thing that we're about to talk about, but all the old feelings start coming up between Emma and Sean, and as jealous as Peter was, he does dastardly things, and he goes back to his old evil roots, plants marijuana in Sean's locker. Sean goes to jail. Eventually, Emma finds out the truth and dumps Peter's butt. And then Peter joins the male members of the Power Squad when they needed stronger members to do all the routines and stuff. And that's how he and Darcy become acquainted. And he sets her up with this guy online for her My Room page, which was like their version of Facebook. And a lot of bad stuff goes on there, but eventually Darcy and Peter do end up together.
Well, was the My Room page around the time that she was dating Spinner for Darcy?
Yes, we'll talk about that once we get to her character.
Okay, sorry again.
Stop being anxious, Jesus. What did you think of the relationship between Peter and Darcy?
I mean, I like that he was there for her to, can I say it, help her through her rape, or are we not there yet?
No. I mean that's there. It's on the Peter list.
Okay, so I like that, but I did not like them being together. I don't know.
It was an interesting relationship for Peter.
As we go on, to those who are listening, I'm not gonna like a lot of the couples that were put together. Just an FYI. So, anyway.
Yeah, they did have some interesting ones on this show. So he does help Darcy with her rape after a ski trip that they've taken. He starts the Studs band with Danny and Sav, and they're playing these weird love songs, and Spinner's like, you need edge. You need edge. You need ruthless aggression. In order for him to be the drummer, because Spinner was the drummer for the greatest Degrassi band of all time, Downtown Sasquatch. And then
I couldn't name that band better, but just my opinion.
They become incognito with the bunny masks, and then Studs is born. Peter becomes a songwriter, extraordinaire, and he really gets into music and wants to pursue that for a career. As we said,
He's gonna get kicked out of his own band.
yeah, we're gonna get to that. He starts dating Mia and seems to be looking up for him, and then he's invited to a party because Declan was hitting on Mia. So Declan invites Peter and Mia to a party, and Declan's cousin Victoria or Veronica, something like that.
Victoria.
Yeah, whatever her name was. The point is, Peter's feeling down on himself after he embarrasses himself at the party in front of all these rich snobs, trying to play one of his songs. And Victoria gives him crystal meth, and he gets a little hooked. He gets kicked out of the band. Mia moves away to Paris, and he does a little rehab, and he gets clean. And then, in order to get back into the band, he finds him a place to play. Talks to Spinner. Talks to the guy that owns the Dot, and he cleans out the storage unit above it, and that's how Above the Dot is born. Of course, no drugs, no alcohol, but eventually that stuff does find its way up there, and he starts to have feelings for Victoria, but he finds out that she's still involved with that stuff, so he ends whatever that relationship could have been. He eventually rejoins the band under the name Janie and the Stoods, featuring Peter Stone. He graduates with Danny, and he works at the newly rebuilt Dot, because let's remember, Emma burned it down with a sandwich maker.
Hey, let's not forget the movie, too, where they helped Manny find Jay.
Oh, yes, and Degrassi Goes Hollywood.
Goes Hollywood.
They played in Jason Mewes' musical about his life. Yes, that happened.
That, I believe, was after his rehab. Before Mia left for Paris. Or maybe she came back.
No, that was during the time he and Mia were together. Yeah.
Sorry, my timeline's all over the place. When you watch Degrassi for so long, with all the episodes, you're just like, okay, wait, which order was there?
If you're a historian like you like your boy is, you know the order. All right, Peter Stone was in 70 episodes, ladies and gentlemen. That's a hell of a run. Now we move on to Sinead Grimes before she found fame on 90210 or whatever the hell that show's called, Beverly Hills.
No, it was actually, you were right, 90210, because the original one was called Beverly Hills.
Yes, there we go with Luke Perry, R.I.P. to the homie. So Darcy Edwards, season 4 through 5 recurring, season 6 through 7 regular, season 8 guest appearances. First time we ever actually see Darcy. She's involved in the game that Rick and Toby are playing to see which one can get more kisses by the end of the day. And she gives him a kiss on the cheek. I just thought about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
we also hear her through her older sister's name.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
I'll get back to you on that.
Okay. Alright, so she's in Friendship Club, which is Christian club. Degrassi had one of those. Spinner's let back into Degrassi after he was expelled for being involved in the prank that got Jimmy shot and eventually led to Rick's death. He starts talking to Darcy, and then he joins the club, and Spinner becomes holier than thou thanks to Darcy.
Which was weird to me.
Yeah, it was something. And then eventually, as this prolonged, she's abstinent and all that other stuff. But this is where we get back to the Peter and the sexy photos on the My Room page. The guy that Peter gets Darcy involved and starts sending her money for the photos. She's not nude or anything, but it's just like a lot of leg, a lot of thigh, bikini stuff. And
yeah, she should have known about Peter at that point, because the whole Manny and Peter situation was before that too.
Yeah. Anyway, they get new uniforms for the Power Squad. Yeah, Spirit Squad.
Power Squad.
Whatever the hell it was. Yeah. So that goes down. Eventually, they come face to face. Excuse me. And she calls her little sister Claire calls the cops. Well, Claire becomes a very integral part of Degrassi later on in the coming seasons and years.
I love Claire.
Aw, Claire Bear. Aw. Oh Jesus, that was kind of creepy. I don't know why you did that, Lisette. Anyway.
Did what?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
What did I do? All I said was I love Claire.
You called her Claire Bear. That's weird.
No, I did not. The viewers know that was you. Our voices are very different.
Oh, okay, okay.
Really, don't try to make your voice deeper. It's not going to do anything.
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, they go on a ski trip. Manny, Peter, Darcy. They get drunk. They have a fight, and then Darcy wakes up in the same bed as Peter. All their clothes are off, so she thinks that she and Peter have had sex, and she's broken her abstinence, her vow. She takes off the ring, but then she comes to realize she was roofied, date rape, drug, and this was the second rape that occurs on Degrassi the Next Generation. First one was obviously Paige, back in it was like '02, I think, when that was aired. So yeah, this is hard for her to deal with. You know, and she finds out she actually got chlamydia from that rape. Didn't know that.
That was also the second time that we had seen that in Degrassi. Remember when Emma got gonorrhea and chlamydia?
Oh, she got that from doing something else. You feels me?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that Degrassi
sexual diseases, sexual transmitted diseases. I get where you're coming from.
No. Well, yeah, that. But what I'm saying is that what I was saying when we first started this is that Degrassi tends to repeat itself in the newer seasons and the newer generations. That's what I'm saying is that almost every single cast that they casted in all the seasons is a little representative of older stuff and older situations that happen.
Absolutely, Lisette.
I know you're just saying that to shut me up.
No, I would never shut you up. How dare you? Alright, after that discovery, she tries to commit suicide. She cuts her wrist, kind of Hannah Baker or Jace. I'm not gonna lie.
No, more like Ellie. Remember Ellie cut her wrist?
I said that because Hannah Baker, she was in the tub, there was water. Darcy did it, cutting her wrist in the shower, there's water. You see the references now?
Yes, thanks.
Yeah.
Wikipedia.
Yeah, here we go. Philopedia. You're welcome. Alright, why are we laughing about trying to commit suicide? That's not funny. She finally deals with Miss Sauvé, who's the guidance counselor there, and then she is just so messed up that she starts spending time.
Mr. Simpson.
Oh my god, will you let me speak, please?
Okay, is this going to be just a you speak and then I speak when you allow me to, or it's just going to be a back and forth thing?
I have no idea. She starts spending time with Mr. Simpson, Snake, Archie. She starts calling him that too, which is actually kind of creepy. She like drew him a snake, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna get weird.
We call our teachers by their names. No. Specifically Tom and Chad.
No, not like their nicknames though. Like, I'm not like nobody's calling Chad whatever his nickname was from high school. That's creepy. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she was like, I drew this for you, Snake. I'm like, oh god. And then she falsely accuses him of touching her and fondling her, and Simpson's suspended. She tarnishes his reputation. She goes to the roof with Johnny DeMarco and starts making out. She tried to jump off the roof and commit suicide.
Johnny DeMarco got around.
Shout out to my boy JD. But yeah, so she's just going through all this stuff, and then her parents drop her off during spring break at this bad kids camp that's at Degrassi, and Peter's there and DeMarco's there. And, she was pissed off about that. Her and Peter sneak off and actually have sex. So, there you go with that. Mm-hmm. And, eventually that camp does do wonders. She tells people that, Simpson didn't do anything. She lied about the whole thing because she was messing.
Well, that was after Emma pleaded to her to tell the truth.
Yeah, and Simpson's reputation is tarnished for a little bit, but eventually everything goes back to normal. Darcy eventually rebuilds her spirit and is forgiven by most of her friends. She lives in the Power Squad, and that's what led Mia to come on to the Power Squad. And then while her and Peter are together, she gets this opportunity to go build homes in Kenya, and so she does. Leaves Peter behind. Peter lost girlfriends to different continents, dude.
Dude, Peter lost girls left and right, let's just be honest.
That's true. Darcy Edwards was in 40 episodes. I'm surprised she never came back to deal with Claire.
I mean, maybe they didn't want to do that.
I mean, she kind of blew up on 90210, so that's probably what happened there.
Well, right. She was the main star, so yeah.
Absolutely. All right, this is a very brief one. Danny Van Zandt, little brother of Liberty Van Zandt. Season 4 through 6 recurring, seasons 7 through 9 regular. JT's new friend. JT kind of leaves Toby off to the side. That's where now Toby gets involved with Rick. Danny fights JT over the fact that he got his sister pregnant. Then he becomes good friends with Derek Haig, who we'll talk about right after Danny. And they get into a little altercation over a girl because the girl liked Derek instead of Danny. Danny plants panties in... Derek plants panties in Danny's bag and they run away. You know, he was profiled because he was black. A lot of kind of what's going on in today's society is relevant in that situation a little bit. And then we move on. He joins the Studs band. He's interested in Mia. That doesn't pan out because of what happened. He eventually dates Leia, and he doesn't feel like that's going anywhere after being together for a couple months. So he starts...
Well, because Leia was weird and obsessive. I mean, look at what she did to try to get him to break up with Mia.
Yeah, and then she lied about her dad being tight with Fallout Boy and Pete Wentz. Eventually, he dates Chauntay, who she had a hell of a run on the show, and we will talk about it. It will be a happening.
I don't know what the big deal with Chauntay is with you being on the show.
We'll talk about it. Eventually, Danny, you know, his dad was a lawyer, an attorney, a counselor. He goes off to Cornell. Big things for DVZ. He was in 71 episodes.
I used to remember when I was watching it, I want to say that I was maybe 9, 10, or 11, and when people would reference him as DVC, I'd be like, what the hell is that? Or I would say DZV, and people would be like, dude, like, you're an idiot, that's not how you say it.
That's DVZ, baby! All right.
But I would say DZV, not DVZ.
Oh, you got the letters mixed up. That's
yeah. Well, because if you think about it, when you say it really fast, DVZ, like, you know, it's kind of like
DVZ. It's not. I mean, I don't understand.
Okay, well, I was also a young person.
You're still a young person in a lot of ways. All right, moving on. Derek Haig, season 5 through 6 recurring, season 7 through 8 regular. He gets in fights with Jimmy. Because Jimmy, you know, he's the assistant coach because, you know, the boy was still nice even though he was in a chair. You know what I'm saying? He's like, how's a cripple going to teach me how to shoot? And then Jimmy outdusts him in that three-point shoot-off. He goes all the way, like, to the other hoop and just tosses that boy up in the air and makes it...
Making history.
Yes, and Derek's like, you got to teach me how to do that, you know? And then, of course, he becomes friends with Danny. Best friends. He hazes Jane because, you know, she was a girl on the team but didn't think she could hang. And that's really it. That storyline with James really the last time you see him. He was in 35 episodes. Oh, not to mention he had that thing with Perino.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, can't forget about Mr. Perino. One of the best teachers at Degrassi. All right, moving on from that, now we get to...
He's also someone who's been in the show for a while.
He is. Him and Armstrong. Those guys.
Yeah, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah. All right, now this is where kind of Degrassi history repeats itself with storylines.
Riley Stavros.
The Greek Freak. That's what they called him on the field, you know. Riley Stavros, season 8 through 11 regular. All right.
Dude, he stole my heart when I saw him on the show. I was like, whoa.
Oh. Had a little crush, huh?
Yeah, dude, if you want, I could give you a whole list of all the guys on the Degrassi that I had a crush on.
Sure, why not? Go for it.
Marco, Craig, obviously Jimmy, Riley, Lucas, JT, and then I'll keep it to them for now because we're going to talk about, the Netflix cast later on, and then the cast before that later on too. So.
Oh, she was a.
Oh, and Zane.
She was a Drew Torres fan, ladies and gentlemen.
I was, and I'm.
Luke Billick. I slid in those DMs, and he's coming on the show next month.
Mhm.
You want to be on that episode?
Wait, is he really?
Yeah. Do you want to be on?
You're lying to me.
I am lying to you. Riley Stavros, so he struggles with the idea of being gay. You know, he discovers that he kind of likes dudes. He kisses Peter, and that's what freaks Peter out and leads him to go in with Mia. And then he starts looking up online how to not be gay, and he's talking about going to this counseling that costs thousands of dollars and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh my god, this is.
Well, don't forget Anya.
Oh yeah, he had beards. There was Fiona.
And Fiona.
There was Anya. Anya was she was good looking too. You know, so he did have beards to kind of cover that up. I remember he like grabbed Chauntay at a carnival and tried to kiss her and stuff.
And she pushed him away.
And during the lifeguarding class, he got a hard on when he watched the lifeguard instructor give mouth to mouth to the test dummy, and I'm like, oh god, by God.
I gotta say that even though the show really wasn't meant for people our age at that time to watch, they did really, really amazing at like explaining everything, like every single situation that actually happened in real life.
Yeah, you know, they related to a lot of people. Eventually, you know, he starts dating Zane in secret because, you know, he didn't want.
No, but don't forget before that he was discriminating against Zane.
Yeah, I mean, he was making gay jokes and stuff to kind of hide the fact that, you know, he is, because he didn't want people to know. He didn't want to be out like during high school and stuff like that. And in order to be with Zane, he realized he had to come out. So, oh, and not to mention, Drew blackmails him for the star QB position.
God, my two favorite guys were going at it. I remember I hated it.
I'm sorry. Why you wish you were there to stop it, don't you?
Sure.
All right. Anyway, so that happens, but eventually he does realize, you know, being the star football player and all this other stuff, you know, the fame doesn't matter. He just wanted to be with the guy he was really interested in. So he eventually does come out, and then he hasn't come out to his mom yet. That's the real question, or the real struggle he has there. And his mom walks in on him and Zane making out, and you know, he's like, "Ma, you just saw me making out with a dude." He's like, "No, you're confused," and all this other stuff. And eventually, you know, once he graduates, because he gets accepted into Eastern University to be the first openly gay athlete there, his mom at his graduation was like, "Okay, I accept it," or whatever, and stuff like that. He was in 35 episodes.
It feels like he was in much longer episodes.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the Degrassi thing. A certain storyline will get 2 or 3 episodes in a row. They'll take a break for 1 or 2 episodes and then go back to it. Yeah. All right, now we got to move on to one of my favorite characters on this show. She was the new Queen Bee. She was the new Paige Michalchuk. Holly
J Sinclair.
Holly Jeanette Sinclair, the sister of the aforementioned but never seen Heather Sinclair.
You know what? That's who I was thinking of earlier when I was thinking of Darcy's older sister. I was thinking of Holly J.
Yep. Alright, season 7 through 11 regular, and then season 11 guest appearances. The new Queen Bee after Paige Michalchuk. When she comes from Lakers as well. You know, she shares a lock with Mia, calls her Mama Mia, because, you know, she has a kid. She's snobby, arrogant, spoiled princess.
Hey, that might be how they got the name for the Mamma Mia movies.
I highly doubt that.
Oh, I'm just saying.
You live in your own little bubble, don't you?
Yeah, and I love my bubble, okay?
Oh. No comment. So she develops a crush on Toby when he helps her with math, and she helps him with Dance Revolution, because apparently you do that in gym and PE class.
Hey, I would have loved to do that in gym or PE class, okay, instead of actually running a mile and doing all the other crap we did.
Those little feet would have been moving.
No, I kept getting asthma attacks.
Oh my god. Anyway, Toby actually disses her. He's like, "No, you missed your chance with the Isaacs." I'm like, "Oh shit."
Well, Toby also thought that he was the shit when he kissed her.
Toby was the man, dude.
Yeah, he was an underrated character that didn't get a lot of love.
He didn't, and he makes like 1 appearance after his character graduates.
And he was Ashley's stepbrother.
Yeah. Alright, so after that, she kind of changes her ways. You know, she's interested in Blue. for a little bit, but then her family, gets put on hard times when her father's bad investments go awry, and they have to cut up their credit cards, and she has to get a job at the Dot, and she actually develops a little crush on Spinner while she's working there at the Dot, and she tends to Spinner when he gets shot working there one night after the robbery or whatever. And
tell me why I completely forgot about Blue. That's how irrelevant he was too.
Blue. Every time I heard his name, I just thought of Leanne Rimes' Blue when she's yodeling.
I literally just had to look up Blue because I was like, who is that? And then as soon as I saw the picture, I was like, oh yeah, that's the guy that was just like, oh hey, I'm here, but I'm not making.
He was the guy with blue eyes.
Mm.
Get it? Because his name was Blue.
Yeah. A good one.
Okay. Eventually, she becomes the student council president. The presidency is awarded to her by the Shep. By the Shep. You gotta love the Shep.
Shep.
Yes, and then after Declan has his little rendezvous with Jane, he starts to develop feelings for Miss Holly J. And that might be
not though. Let's be honest, Mia, Holly J.
Let's be honest. I think Declan and Holly J were my favorite couple.
They were a power couple.
They were. She was starting to get into her Hillary Clinton. I'm a boss lady. I'm an entrepreneur. I know what I'm doing.
The president and first lady of Degrassi.
They were, or he was the first man because she was the president.
Oh well, yeah. There you go.
I think Holly J was at her best when she was with Declan. I do. I really.
Oh yeah.
I really
do.
And
I really think that Anya was jealous of her.
Oh yeah, she was best friends with Anya, and Anya dressed exactly like her. But after Holly J ruins this was it not a feast, but was it a hunger strike? Something like that.
What are you talking about?
Remember they were it was for charity. You have to go without food for 24 hours or 12 hours or something.
Oh, when she got all the pizza. Yeah.
And ruined it, and they don't become best friends anymore.
Until later on when Anya has her pregnancy scare.
Or they become really acquaintances, not really friends. I mean, but we'll get into that.
Oh, yeah, we'll get it. Yeah.
All right, so she falls in love with Declan. Her first time is with the heir apparent. But then she stops trying to live up to his expectations, and because she wants to go to Yale and all this, go to Yale with him, and he said you don't need to work, because she gets a job at Little Mistakes, the place where you wear a cowboy outfit, and he said I'll just pay for you not to go to school, and I was like, oh, my man just throwing the money around, big baller brand.
I have to say, I think out of all the couples, they were the one that kind of lasted a while.
Yeah, it felt like it was going on for. Actually, it was. If you do they got together at the beginning of the semester. Semester's 3 months, and they lasted a little bit after that. Once Declan moves back to New York, so they're about a 5-month run.
We also got not the movie, but that hour-long episode where she goes to New York with him to see what her life would be.
Oh yeah, that was another movie.
It wasn't a movie. It was an hour and a half.
Yeah, anything longer than 22 minutes running time is a movie.
Okay, thanks.
Don't give me that sarcasm.
I'll give you whatever the hell I want to give you.
Oh, really?
Ew, that sounded really disgusting.
Whoa. Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for her.
I'm sorry.
Her disgustingness. Anyway, she breaks up with him, and she doesn't want to live up to the expectations. And then she starts to develop a little thing for my boy Sav.
Okay, you are missing key points too as well. Fiona kisses her.
Oh yeah, I mean I was gonna get to that once I started talking about Fiona, but
if we're gonna talk about all of them, even though we're gonna talk about it later, we gotta bring it up and then elaborate on it later.
It's better if we just wait. I know you're an eager beaver.
Okay, well this is your podcast. I'm just a guest, so whatever.
I know, right? Yeah, it sounds like to me you just want to run the show. If you just want to run this podcast, you let me know, Lisette.
No, I don't, but I'm just... Okay, never mind. Just let me know when I speak.
Okay. Yeah, so she starts to develop little feelings for Sav, and then, they get together and they're like, we're just going to have fun till graduation. So, that goes on.
She cheats on Declan with Sav.
No, she cheats on Sav with Declan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. She says Declan comes back into town to accept an award for the play that he did. And, yeah, he has a little soiree, and Fiona, she had an alcohol problem, so she pretends to be drunk so Holly J can stay over with Declan. And Declan and Holly J do the deed once again. And, Holly J actually really didn't want to, and Declan thinks that he raped her. So that was a little interesting there.
Well, he kind of did. Without consent, it's still...
That's true. Oh god. Oh my god. This damn show.
I'm telling you, this show covered everything.
It did. Anyway, so her and Sav eventually are no longer together. She just loses interest, and yeah. So she finds out that she gets really sick, and she has a kidney failure, so she needs a transplant. She starts going on dialysis, and along that, she finds out that she's adopted. Nonetheless,
I know. They were like, "What can we throw at Holly J to give her a really, really good story?"
I was like, oh, that's a new level. I don't think they tackled this one yet. And yeah, so she finds out she's adopted, and this is the most messed up thing. Her real mother, Dawn, wants $20,000 to do
in order for her to get what she needs.
Yeah, it's a 3-month recovery time for a kidney transplant. I'm like, oh my god.
What a Carol Baskin.
Jesus.
Or a Karen.
Oh, yes, a Karen. Anyway, so buying organs is actually illegal, so they can't do that. But they're all...
She wants the black market.
Yeah, but they're looking at old prom photos of Dawn, and Fiona's like, that dress is so vintage. How does $20,000 sound? And she buys the dress. That's enough for Holly J to get her kidney transplant. Because remember, she was doing an internship with a woman that was going to run for mayor in Toronto with Chauntay, and during her presentation, Holly J peed herself.
Which is how she found out about her kidney problems, because she kept having to pee.
Yes, so that happens. She gets her transplant the day of her prom. She graduates a couple days before that, and she goes off to Yale.
I like what they did to mark their time there.
Yeah, their era, the handprints, her, Chauntay, and Anna. Holly J would eventually come back for a couple episodes to kind of deal with Fiona and the fiasco that happened with her trust fund and her parents' equities there.
If I'm thinking about it now, I don't remember seeing those handprints in the newer episodes, like the one on Netflix and even the one before they put it on Netflix.
Well, they probably redid the pavement, so that's what happened there. All in all, Holly J was in an astounding, take your guess, 100 episodes.
And what a good 100 episodes they were.
What a great... Alright, we gotta move on to the man, Sav Bhandari. Season 7 regulars, Season 8 through 11... Or no, Season 7 recurring, Seasons 8 through 11 regular. Dates Anna. They break up constantly. Typical high school relationship.
Seriously, on and off.
Yes, but he never tells his parents about Anya because, they're very traditional, and he is in an arranged marriage situation with Farah, who he pretends to take to prom, but really takes Anya. He doesn't have to marry her, but he did have to meet her, stuff like that. He joins the...
I hated that.
It was messed up, yeah, it really was. He joins the Studs band. He and Anya have sex on prom night in the limo. Mm-hmm. That was her way of trying to secure Sav. Because, Farah, she looked pretty nice.
And it's weird because she went to Holly J for her opinion on that.
Yeah, that was interesting. And then, he thinks he got her pregnant because,
she takes the plan B.
No, she never did. She took it late.
She took the day afterward, I thought.
Yeah, the day afterward or whatever.
Yeah, that's when you're supposed to take plan B.
Yeah, or just make her a plan B smoothie right after, brother. That's all you gotta do.
Oh,
anyway, school starts back up. It's their senior year. Holly J is running for president, and then Sav, he runs against her, and Holly J's threatened, so she comes up with this scheme for Anya to pretend like she's pregnant. So Sav, would have to look after that, and Sav and Anya use it to their advantage, kind of turning on Holly J, and Sav becomes president. It's going to be the year of Sav, the year of the Bhandari. Anyway, to get out of it, they say that Anya had a miscarriage, and his parents never find out. I'm like,
yeah, he was like the golden child, but he did his little sketchy stuff.
Yeah. So and then eventually he and Anya break up for good because they realize it's never gonna work. Like we said, he dates Holly J for a little bit. That ends after she doesn't really feel the same way anymore. Steals his dad's truck to go to a concert with characters we'll talk about in the next round of Degrassi talk. Adam and Eli and Bianca. The band was the Dead Hand, and he won them talking to Bullfrog, who we find out is Eli's dad, the disc jockey, and I think the song was Paisley Jacket, yeah.
I'm just waiting until we get to the Keke Palmer part.
Oh, yeah. How could you forget? So, after he breaks up with Holly J, he has a quick little fling with Keke Palmer, star of True Jackson, VP. Yes. Yes, that was interesting. I was like, oh, she does music, huh? One of those Disney stars, or Nickelodeon stars that gets thrust into the music scene.
It's Nickelodeon, not Disney.
I said Nickelodeon.
No, you said one of those Nickelodeon Disney stars. She was only on Nickelodeon.
I said Disney, then I corrected myself and said Nickelodeon.
Oh wait, no, she was on Disney. Crap, I'm wrong.
She was on Disney?
She was in a movie with
Oh, jump in it, yeah. Why do I know that?
Not jump in it, jump in.
Ew, that's disgusting. Why do I know that?
I think Corbin Blue was in that movie too.
He was. Anyway, the point is he has a little fling with her, and that doesn't really pan out because she has to go back on tour. She's famous, goddammit. And then he falls for Miss O.
Miss O.
Those high boots or whatever. Dude, Sav was living out the dream for every dude that had a crush on a hot teacher. Yeah, man. I mean, Miss O was she was nice. They shared a love of music. He wasn't
the only one that dated a teacher.
No, we're talking about like the dude from the dude's perspective.
Oh well, yeah, because I was gonna say, don't you remember Paige?
Yeah, she dated a guy, an older man. That's not the point here.
He was a teacher.
Okay, that's not the point though that I'm making.
Okay, whatever.
Every teen boy who had a hot teacher, you're like, man, dude, if I was with her, yada yada yada. Sav got to live out that dream. That's
yada yada yada.
That's the point, and they just can't get together. I mean, they have a couple instances where they make out and stuff, like during the prom, or the dance.
Well, don't forget when he finds her pictures.
What?
When he finds her pictures and he brings them up to her.
What pictures?
The one of her on the motorcycle.
No, that's Dave. That's completely different.
That's not Dave.
Yes, that is Dave. That's completely different. So, anyway, and you're looking it up. No,
I'm not looking it up. I got a message and I'll put it there.
Oh, okay. Anyway, so they never really get together because, Sav's going off to university. She's studying for a music accreditation. And so they have one final kiss on the Degrassi steps. And that's it for Mr. Bhandari. He makes an appearance on the next class, though. Briefly.
Yeah, because of
very brief. No, not because of Allie, because of the next class on Netflix. When Maya was studying or had an internship at Peter's music label.
I remember Peter and Craig making their appearance on the Netflix one.
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of them made appearances. He was
a lot to discuss for.
He was in 91 episodes. All right. Next up, Declan Coyne, season 9 through 10 regular. Fiona's older brother starts having an affair with Jane. We've already talked about that.
The bad boy.
Yes, falls in love with Holly J.
The man of his dreams.
After a semester of dating Holly J, he moves back to New York. After a visit back to Toronto, he and Holly J break up because he's throwing his money around. And then another visit back, he sleeps with her. And I hope they ended up together in some point in time.
Yeah, I kind of wish that they would do a, like...
Where are they now? In their characters? That'd be...
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
Or, like they all came back for, like, a huge event or something. You know, like another Drake music video.
I guess, but, you know, I mean, the set's been sold, and so that can't happen at Degrassi.
I know, but I'm just saying. It wouldn't have to necessarily be a Degrassi either.
But that's the point.
They could do, like, but they could do, like, the Dot. You know, the Dot wasn't at Degrassi.
No, I'm saying, like, you can't do a Degrassi reunion if it's not at Degrassi. This just doesn't make sense.
Okay, well, then they can do a cast reunion at the Dot. The Dot wasn't at Degrassi.
No, that doesn't work. You didn't watch Degrassi for the Dot. You watched it for the school. That's like saying you watched Friends just to see Central Perk, just to see a coffee house. You know? Anyway, Declan was in 26 episodes. We move on to Fiona Coyne, who... went
through many different phases.
Season 9 through 12 regular. She has a huge jealousy complex when it comes to women getting close to her brother. She actually kisses him, and it's all on the tabloids. It's just weird.
Yeah, don't forget she hated J Sinclair for...
Hated Holly J, then she becomes one of her best friends. After they go back to private school, she's beaten by her boyfriend, Bobby Beckenrich. She enhances it. Her black eye a little bit with makeup. You know, she has a deposition, and you know the family sues Bobby. Eventually, she does win. That's when she really developed her alcoholism. She kisses Holly J in that moment because she realizes she's a lesbian and likes girls, and thinks she's in love with Holly J. But you know, Holly J doesn't swing that way, baby. Anyways, so eventually she moves back to Canada because she didn't want to be in New York. Goes to rehab for being an alcoholic because one of her love interests is Adam. And you know we'll talk about Adam once we get to that element of Degrassi, but
R.I.P. Adam.
Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it.
Sorry.
You're just jumping the gun.
I'm pretty sure majority of the listeners have already seen it though.
I highly doubt that. Anyway, you know, she realizes, or Adam realizes she only wants to be with him when she's intoxicated. What's that girl's name? What is that? Charlie. That's her new love interest. She buys a Vespa for her, and now she lives with her.
She lives with her cat.
Mr. Tuxedo Pants sets him free when she gets drunk. You know, she loses all her assets too. So, you know, she has to take in her roommate, a.k.a. Drew. That happens eventually. Then she
develops feelings for Imogen.
Yes, she dates Imogen Marino. And they're a nice little couple.
They were odd couple, but they were an odd couple that I liked.
Yeah, it was just odd. Odd. She dates Imogen. Eventually, you know, she gets an opportunity to go off to, I think it was Italy or something, to design fashion. She graduates from Degrassi because she was a super senior because her grades were terrible during her actual senior year. So
a lot of them were in the show much longer than they needed to be.
Oh, we're gonna talk about it next. Yes, we are. So she actually had 5 years of high school and 96 episodes.
But if you think about it, 5 years of high school isn't that bad. Other people will be in high school for much longer. I felt like Spinner was in it much longer than who we're going to talk about next.
Well, I mean that's because he got expelled.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, if he had missed more school because of chemo, he would have had like 6 years. So yeah, that would have been good. All right, the one I've been waiting for, Chauntay Black. Here we go. Season 4. Four. through 5 guest appearances, season 7 guest appearances, season 6 recurring, 8 through 11 regular. She was in the same grade as Paige Michalchuk and graduates in season 11. That's what, 2 graduating classes? No, one. That's 3 graduating classes after Paige's graduating class. She was on the show forever. 2000 season 4 was like 2004. She graduates in 2011.
Yeah, but if you think about it, she's another character that becomes irrelevant.
She was irrelevant. She didn't need to be there. Oh my God!
She brought some of the drama.
She covered it. She was Perez Hilton. That's all she was.
Okay, but remember when Simpson took away their rights to post, and she started the...
Oh, okay. After being there for like 8 years, she had one meaningful storyline. Okay.
Hey, okay, whatever. I'll give that one to you.
Forever.
Okay, but
Jesus.
If you really think about it, however long she was in it, she wasn't really in it. You would maybe see her in a couple scenes here and there, or you would hear her talk here and there.
Look. The point is, she was on the show forever. Ever. She's on the Spirit Power Squad. The Queen of Gossip, the Anti-Grapevine was her little blog. She was the writer and editor of it. Dates Danny after he gets rid of Leia. Thank God. She finally graduates and leaves the show. For being on the show forever, she was only in 64 episodes.
Yeah, so it's not really forever.
Forever and ever. No? You're not a... Okay, I'm sorry. Thought you were...
No.
No,
I am a fan, but I'm not gonna... No, we're not gonna break out into musical here. We're not on High School Musical, the musical.
Oh, okay, because that stuff's great. All right, last up, Anya McPherson.
Perform in High School Musical, the musical.
Anya McPherson, season 6 guest appearance, 7 recurring, 8 through 11 regular. Is Holly J's lapdog and sidekick.
Oh my gosh, did you really just say that?
Yeah.
Could have just said minion, robot. You didn't have to say lapdog.
Then she unfriends Holly J, starts dating Sav. They break up like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 times. Has sex in the limo with Sav at their junior prom. We know that. Sav never fights for her to his parents, and she ends it for good. Her mom gets cancer and starts dating her mom's doctor, Dr. Chris.
They don't really date. She has a crush on him.
No, they go on a date.
They went out on one date because the doctor felt pity for her. Dr. Chris felt pity.
No. They went on one date because he thought she was 22.
Same shit.
No, that's not the same stuff. He was like what, 25, and she was 17. My guy, my guy. But he didn't know, so I'll let it slide. Yeah, so they start to date, and he goes to Africa to help the less fortunate or something. Everybody just leaves to Africa to go do good work. I like it. I like it a lot. Going back
like we said earlier, everybody needs like a really, really huge thing for them to go to.
Going back to the motherland, baby! Alright, moving on from that, she starts to date Owen Milligan.
Oh my gosh, that's somebody else that I... Actually, no, I'll say this. I hated Owen at first.
He was the definition of a pig. Can we say that?
Yeah, we can say that. But Owen grew on me afterward.
Oh, did he?
He grew on me afterward, yeah.
Yes, Owen Milligan dates Anya. And, she thought he was a pig, but she's upset about Dr. Chris. She and Owen have sex at her surprise 18th birthday party. In Fiona's bed, I might add. So they're together and they're at this club that's for like teens or whatever, and she meets this girl, starts doing coke, has a little coke addiction.
Well, no, Bianca takes her, but Bianca's someone we'll talk about later.
Yeah, I mean, Bianca doesn't do the coke though, she didn't do it.
No, but Bianca's the one who introduced her to that girl.
Yeah, that's true. The point is they're at the club, introduced with Owen, coke. Coke is the main subject at this point.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Alright, and she doesn't make it into university. She only applies to Toronto U because she wanted to be close to Dr. Chris. Doesn't get in.
Well, don't forget that she was also a beard for Riley.
I already said that once we talked about Riley.
Yeah, but I want to bring it up again because her and Riley were also really good friends, and he was disappointed in her when he found out that she did coke.
I don't remember him ever finding out.
I do.
Anyway, back to the coke and not getting into university. She wants to join the army. She takes the test, all the stuff, and she doesn't pass the drug test.
And who helps her out with that?
Because of the coke. Oh, Owen?
Riley at first, and then Owen.
Owen helps her with the physical stuff. Her mom finds out she was doing coke. She finds it in this locket necklace that she left at home. So she deals with that habit, and she eventually does get into the army, and she's
And that was that.
That was that. 82 episodes for Anya McPherson. And ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it. I know most of this was rambling and stuff due to Lisette's part. I'm sorry, but I think
Yeah, why don't you? I don't have to come back on you now.
Oh no, please do. This is fun, is it not? No? Wow. Okay.
Not say anything.
Wow. Okay. I'm sorry. All right. Favorite character from this podcast? Who is it?
Oh, can I speak now?
Yeah. I'm asking you.
Oh, I didn't know if you were just, stating it so then you could speak first and then, me wait for my turn.
No, this is a democracy. And I like how the echo's happening because you don't have your mic muted. That's great. You can speak now.
What? Okay. What?
Who's your favorite character?
No, you can go first.
Okay, I'll go. I'll go Holly J. I dug the vibe. She was a leader, a true. The poster of the woman in the blue jean jacket, red bandana, the yellow background. You can do it for the women or whatever. No, she was a leader in the women's revolution and power. I'm giving it to Holly J. Thought she did good-ish on this show. All right, Lisette, what about you?
Oh, I can talk now? And you were thinking of Rosie the Riviera.
Yes, Rosie the Riviera, absolutely.
Out of everyone that we talked about, I don't just have one. So can I say more than one?
Absolutely, go for it.
Okay, Riley, Mia, Anya, Chauntay,
just say the whole list, Jesus.
And Holly J.
There we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap it up for this part 2 of Degrassi, the Next Generation, recapping the show. It's been a happening. I will say that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, tune in to the Bullet Cast this Thursday. Brandon and I are going to go down or recap the week that was in professional wrestling. Going to recap or go over predictions NXT TakeOver in your house this Sunday. We'll do a recap of that. Hopefully we got to entertain you and you forgot about the things that are going on in the world, whether it be the pandemic or the hard times that are going on in Black America and the corruption of our government. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to wrap it up for myself and Lisette. Stay clean, stay strong, stay safe.
And we'll see you in another 2 years for part 3.
Stay clean, stay strong, stay safe, and stay quarantined.